Welcome back to part 2 of our Java macro tutorial. Last time we built a very simple GUI that starts when you press enter and stops when you press escape. But in this video, we're stepping it up. The first thing we're doing is that we're making it so that even if our application isn't focused and you press escape to stop the macro, it will still stop. I'll get into it a little bit more in a few minutes, but that's pretty much what it is for our global hotkey system. Then we're going to actually create the macro, so it will actually press whatever keys on the keyboard you need, and it will also do the mouse clicker. And lastly, we'll make some helper classes to, you could say, keep the code running and some safeties. So let's get into it and let's fix some errors from the last video, some minor things. First, on line 43, all you have to do is add a semicolon where it says is running equals true. And at the end of your code, just add a curly brace. Okay, so now we can get into it. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make a class, and this class is gonna be called setup. Setup global key listener. That sounds good. So private static, I think. Yeah, private static void set up key listener or global key listener. Yeah. Key listener. Okay, so what this is gonna do is so that even when our thing is not focused, so if you look at this, our IntelliJ right now is focused on IntelliJ. If I go to Chrome, the same shortcuts that work in IntelliJ won't, if I'm focused in Chrome, won't be activated because you're not focused in that. So what we're gonna do now essentially in very, very simple terms is we are making it so that it can be focused and it will always work. We're not like, okay, if this is not there, then it won't work. We need it to always work. That's the point. Oops. Okay, so what we've done now is what is going on? So yeah, so what we've done here, we've created a little method, but the thing we need to do is we need to actually use a library that has all the materials needed for us to actually take advantage of always listening to the key escape. So what we have to do is we have to actually download a JAR. In the video description, if you look, there is a JAR I've put on there. Just download that. And then once you download it, find where it is on your computer. And then on your Mac or your Windows machine, it should go to File, go to Project Structure. And here, you'll be here for a second. Go down from Libraries, press the plus sign, and go to Java. Now from here, find where you have your, what's it called? Your JNativeHook JAR. So take this, open it, and it should say choose modules. If it says a big screen that says, okay, we cannot detect it, then just press classes. If you don't have that, don't worry, you're all good. And once you've done this, just press apply, then go to modules, click this check mark, and press apply again. And now you are all good. Except one last thing, sorry. So go, and also in the video description is this 3 lines. You're just gonna import this into here saying we'll use these classes. Just these 3. Also in the description. Okay, so now let's get back to actually coding. So what we're doing is we're gonna use this class called JNativeHook, which we imported. And it's gonna let us press escape and stop our macro anywhere. Before it was like you have to be focused. Now it doesn't have to be focused, just press escape. So let's get started. Let's first put a try and catch. So try, and we're gonna start with global screen dot register native hook. So we're actually creating our native hook first, and it's gonna want, here we go, add cache clauses. And now what we can do is we need to do the next thing. So global screen dot add native key listener. So add it, if that makes sense. And let's see. What is this error? Yeah, we're not done yet. We need to first do now new and native key listener. And that's pretty much it. Let's cancel. And now inside here, we're gonna add what we need to listen to. So first thing, add override. And we're gonna use this and public void native key pressed. And inside here, we're gonna write native key event E. So what we've essentially done is we've created a native hook, we've registered it, and then we're gonna add it to our global screen, so add it to our code, and we're gonna now it's gonna listen to whatever we press anywhere, and it's gonna store it as E. So now what we can do is we can actually use this information. So if E dot get key code and is equal to native key event E. I think this has to come out here. Native key event E. Yeah, let's just actually no wait. Native key event dot VC escape. So if the key code of the key pressed, which is stored in E, equals escape, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna first call stop macro. So our macro stops. Then we're going to use a swing utilities invoke later, and we're gonna actually show the frame again, show our little screen. So it stops the macro, but we also want to show the user the little application screen, just so the user knows it stopped. So we can create a lambda expression, which we used before, I think. And I can go like this and enter. Let's go like this. And inside here, what we can do is we're going to frame dot set visible true. We can bring this back up here. Okay, so now we've pretty much checked it, and all we need to do is add a few more, you can say, formalities. We're going to do add override. Inside here, we're going to write public void, and then native key released. You can also use more information like native key released and native key type, but we don't want to use this stuff. We just need to make it so it detects it. Just so, like, formality again. We're not going to actually use it, but it gets really confused without it. So we just need to go like this. And then add override. We can just copy this actually. And we're going to do the exact same thing right down here. And instead of native key release, it'll be native key type. Yeah, pretty much. And then where's our catch? So we can just take some spaces away. And inside here, we're gonna write, let's say, failed to create global key listener. So before I actually keep going, I've heard some concerns. So either get message, yeah. That how does it know which E to get? Because we have one E here, one E variable here, one E variable here. So what it does is it makes like a temporary variable, and only the code that's actually inside this catch or inside that if or inside that for can see it. No other thing can access it. It's pretty much locked in. It's like a private code. So doing that, we have made it so it can be used only here. That's why it always works, and it's pretty perfect for that reason. Okay, so now we've created our global key listener, so it can always stop escape. We need to also, in the command line, write it up here. So I just need to copy you. And it's going to start it in here. We could start it when the GUI is created, but it's so much work to write the code in and start it. We can just start it in the command line. Pretty simple for us. Okay, one more helper class we need to make is called key action. This is going to help us make an outline for our array that's going to be used for our key clicker. So before we actually get into it, let's get started. So static class key action. And the reason I'm making it a class is because we can separate it more. I'm making it in the same tab so you can see the code. I don't want to like expand too much yet because we're not there yet. So we'll make 3 variables: int key code, int repetitions, and then int hold duration. Okay, so in this 3 codes, what we can do now is we can actually make a constructor to create an object. So key action, and we can say int key code, int repetitions, and then int hold duration. Okay, Now the last thing we need to do is go this dot repetitions equals repetitions, and then this dot hold duration equals hold duration, and lastly this dot, I think key code, yeah, equals t key code. So I also want to explain how this quickly works. So you might be like, well, what just happened? You just said repetitions equal repetitions. That just cancels out, right? No. So a simple way to think of it is like if you're at a pizza place. If you're at a pizza place, the person's gonna say, okay, which toppings do you want? If we're telling this to a computer, we need to create a generic outline so we can understand the combination. So you're gonna write this dot toppings equals toppings, meaning that so when we said this dot toppings, we're referring to the actual variable. Let's say like where you want to store it in your brain. But the word toppings, like on this side here, is what the user is going to give you. It's a placeholder because you're going to put the information into this format above an object. The first number is key code. Okay, a key code here. But we need to store that key code somewhere, and we're storing it as the key code. It's just a placeholder for the user's information. It's going to be stored in this place. This is just saying this is the actual variable, and the key code is saying it's a placeholder for what the user gives you. That's pretty much what it is. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna create the run macro. So for all of you who are so annoyed by this little error, we're making go array right now. So private static void and run macro. Okay, so now we've actually created the run macro class, the method, and inside here I want to split into two parts. So we'll make it first the actual keyboard clicker and then the mouse clicker. In the keyboard clicker, which we're going to start with right now, we're going to make it like a list setup. So I'll explain that in a second. So list key action. So it's organized in this key action format from the bottom. Oh my God, what is writing? Yeah, key action. And then we're going to call this action. So let's quickly import the class. Actions equals new array list. And then we can set some variables. Oh, what is this? Okay. That's some variables. Oh yeah, so now in here we can write int hold duration, which we'll be using in a few seconds. And set this to 200. This will be all in milliseconds, just so you guys know. And we're gonna make long for cycles. And let's fix this. Cycles is how many times we'll actually go through with an array. It might not make too much sense for now. I'm just gonna do a really, really big number, 100,000, because 100 milliseconds is actually really, really small. That's 100, yeah, that's 100,000. Okay, so now let's make a for loop for int I equals 0, and then if I is less than cycles, then keep going, and then let's make I bigger. Okay, so essentially what we've done here is we've said that we want whatever's going to run in here, so this will be adding to our array, keep going as many cycles as we have. So it will make a variable I, or index, make the index keep going until we've maxed out, and index will grow every single time this runs. I'll quickly add what we need to do, so actions.add, and inside here what we're going to do is call key action. And if you see, this is in the format of key code, repetitions, and hold duration. That's what this is over here on the bottom. Let's say this dot, it's a generic outline which can be used up here, and it's in this parameters, so that's why we had that. Let's get back up here. So inside here now we can write the information. So key event dot, let's start with VKW, and then we can do 1 repetition, and the hold duration is our variable up here. So now what we've done is we've created our first action. We can make 4 of these. So let's see, when WASD to make square. So A, S, and then D. Excuse me, sorry about that. And now we've pretty much got it running. So in other words, what's going to happen is every single time we want this to go 200 milliseconds, so 200, 200, 200, 200, and we'll go 100,000 different times. So we'll add about 400,000 different like key clicks to our array, and now we can actually utilize that down here. So first thing I'm going to do, I'll make a try and catch, because we're going to actually be making a robot. So robot, oops, try. Where is the, that's so weird. Try robot. Wait, we need to first. What is this? Okay. It's gonna put you down here somewhere. It's gonna be over our whole code. So robot equals new robot. Okay. So now what we should do is we should create a little class to handle all our pauses. So first, let's get you to add the catch stuff. And I want to make a little another helper class, and we're gonna call this class, let's call it sleep interruptedly. So private static, okay, one sec. Make sure you're in the right place. Yeah, private static, void sleep interrupt. One sec, I'm just gonna make sure I'm spelling this right. Sleep interruptedly, and this is gonna go right here. So what we're gonna put inside here is, let's do thread dot sleep, and it's gonna be milliseconds. We'll put ms, and then our catch. Oh, inside here we can put just int ms and catch. So what we've done here is we've created this little code that whenever we need to pause it, so let's say we want to hold the key down, or we want to give the user time to move his cursor or move his like whatever we want to move, we can use this thing instead of writing the same code a million different times saying pause, pause. We can make this variable that handles it. So we can write sleep interruptedly. And let's say for now we can do 3000 milliseconds, so the user can have time to like move his cursor and stuff, you know? Okay, so now let's get back to the actual code. Let's make the first thread. So thread WASD. So sorry, WASD thread. And we can make a new thread. New thread. And we're going to make another lambda expression, I think. Yeah. So like this, and then like this. And first thing we need to do is put the arrow key, so like this. And I think we gotta put you here. Perfect. Okay, so we made our lambda expression. Now inside here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually handle the key pressing. It's pretty simple, to be honest with you. So let's try. Of course, most likely we're gonna need this. I'm not 100% sure, but worst case we'll delete it, but I think we need it. So for, let's do key action, and action. So if there is anything going on inside here, if there are, let's say, what's it called, numbers, or in the key actions, if there is anything there, we can start it then. It will keep going until that's ended. And then let's think, I think that should be key actions. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so now I can make another bracket here. What is going on here? Oh, catch. We'll figure that out in a second. Okay, and now I can make another for. And in this for, what we're going to be doing is we're going to actually make it so another indexer, and it's going to keep going through how many repetitions we want. If you want one repetition of you, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. This is actually going to keep reading our array, and when the array is finished, it'll become idle. So let's get to it then. So for int I equal, I can just copy this actually. I don't like that. Let's put a space there quickly. So yeah. So if int I equals 0, so here we're going to put action dot repetitions. So that is a statement. Why is it giving us this? Let's quickly check. Okay, so there is 2 for some reason. Okay, there we go. So what we did is we've called repetition. So if we see here, there's actually 3 for loops working beautifully together. The first for loop, what it's doing is saying, okay, we want 100,000 cycles. So let's add this for whatever your keys are 100,000 different times. So it's super streamlined. You don't need to keep writing 100,000 different times. Press W, press A, press S, whatever you want. Then after that, we're gonna check here. Do we have any actions in there? So if there's any actions inside here, keep running this. And then once we're finished with actions, it's going to go down here to repetition and say, okay, so action or repetition. So does any repetition? How many times do you want this one to be run? Okay, you want this once? Well, how many do you want this one? Once. How many do you want this one? Once, 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 once. And then we'll keep going down the list until we've actually run it all. So let's actually create now the clicker. So first thing we need is, I think, let's check if is running is actually going. So if is running, I'm gonna put exclamation mark, and we can just return the value. Return. Okay, so now here's the fun part in the way. This is where all of the code has been waiting, all it's up to, the clicker. So it's literally just 3 lines of code. Robot.keyPress, and inside here we're gonna put the key code. And since we can't write the same key code 100,000 times, we're just gonna go action key code. So it calls the key code from our array, and then we can do sleep interruptibly, and we can put our milliseconds. We want it to be the whole duration, so we're gonna go action, the whole duration, and then we're gonna do robot.key release this time, and we can do that for, let's say, 50, a low time, so it doesn't take too long, mess up your counting. And if you really want to keep it balanced, you can keep this at 0 or 1. I think 1 is perfect because you actually need some time to let go. So it will also keep your computer not crashing. But for me, I don't really have such an intensive game, so just 50. And then we can add a catch statement here. So catch exception E. And down here we can write stout. And we can print, let's say, WASD fail. And then E.message. So again, it's seeing the message from E. So now we've actually created our auto clicker and it's functional. Next thing we need to do is, of course, the mouse thread. So we can just go up here and copy this lambda, making our life easier, of course. Oh, wow, you got mad. So we just need to fix a few things. Don't worry, just a little scared, you could say. First thing, we need to put a bracket in this. We need to fix the word thread. And we're gonna rename this to mouse thread. See how freaked that our computer got just seeing a few errors? Okay, so I'm gonna put this in try and catch again because most likely we will need one. So what we can do first is we can get our system time, and I think we can make a time for it to stop because this might be going forever. I'm not sure we want that. So we can make end time equals system dot, let's say, current time, in milliseconds. And then we can add some numbers. So let's add, let's say, 10L. Let's just make an equation that should get how much time we need added to this. So I'm sure some crazy big number. Again, we put this in milliseconds, so 60, 60, 360 seconds times 1,000. Perfect. So this is a pretty big number. It should go if you're running it the whole night. So you really need to make this number a little bigger. Make it like 10,000. That should be good enough for anybody running this. And let's do this. We can make a while loop. So while is running. And where's and system dot current time milliseconds plus if it's less than end time, all of this time is less than the end time, then it should keep running it. So we have like an ender in a way. And point is, system time, it might be like, oh wait, how do you know the time is right? How do you know this is right? The point is that this 10L, calculates all. That's the point of it. Okay, so now let's do the actual mouse clicker again. So the big moments, and it's actually really, really simple. Mouse press and input event dot, and I think it's mask down, so button 1. So depending on if you have a mouse or something, you might have different buttons. But if you're just doing trackpad, and I think on MacBook, I think same for Windows. I'm not 100% sure for Linux, but this is how it works in Mac at least, and Windows. Just press button 1. And if you have a mouse, I don't think it's gonna work, so I would say take that out. So sleep interruptibly, and we can put, let's say, 100. You can put as low as you want, as high as you want. It's up to you. And robot.mouse release, so it's gonna release it. And we can put this again, same thing, input event dot button 1 down mask, and then sleep interruptibly and 200. So this is like why we made this little method here, sleep interruptibly. Think about writing that same 4 lines like 20 different times. You get so tired of writing it. And then on the bottom here, we can just do catch exception E, and there we go. We can write mouse. Yeah, mouse. Let's say mouse. Oh my god. Mouse fail plus e.get message. And now lastly, all we really need to do is finish it off with, I think, yeah, starting of the thing. So WASD thread dot start, and then mouse thread dot start, and then after that WASD thread, and this is join, meaning that it should stop when it stops, and mouse thread dot join. And these each have their own clause. Whoa, that just made everything very... We can actually just put them together, so I'll collapse it. Boom. So you've actually just created a very simple macro. And in other words, you've added a global hotkey support, which is this. You've added key action. So first we've added 3 things in this video. A global hotkey support, meaning that I can click it anytime. It runs a mouse and key macro in parallel for I think 15 hours, and it can shut down everything cleanly. So let's just check it out once, just for the fun of it. We can run it. And now if we go, let's say, to Chrome for a second, and we press enter, the user has 3 seconds to move his mouse, and it's clicking it, it's pressing WASD in loop. You press escape, it stops it. So that's about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and please like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you want to see next. I'm thinking of a part 3 which makes the GUI nicer, and we can maybe add a screenshots and Discord handler, and even more to come, because again, coding it's limitless. You can your imagination is the roof. So I hope you enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe one more time, and signing off, Smart Scout.